Thank you.
Good.
Think we're good.
The videos are like,
Yeah.
the videos are open for here.
Right, how to set that whole video.
Let's see what the two that. Can you put something in the scanner? That's been standby. Or something.
What do you want me to do?
Like, please stand by, we're having issues. It's really, it was late getting here to see everything out.
Thanks.
If you click the arrow next to the.
Video in the please.
Mhm. I don't see it.
Mm-mm.
No, it'd be right in the. There was a exception that.
Oh, somebody's like, needs to, hey, lady, what's up? Hey.
Uh.
Do you want me to go over in? Okay.
Huh? You're late.
Thanks. Sorry.
Well, certainly.
Yes. Proceed.
Oh, you ain't gonna have that on me the whole time, are you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and let's unmute.
It's on the.
So we good to go then? All right, good afternoon. Apologize for the delay. We're having some technical difficulties. The time is now 4:04. Call this meeting to order. As for verifying if we have a quorum or not, we will skip item number 2 and go straight to number 3. Do we have any public comments?
No.
All right, we had no public comments. We'll jump right down to Office of Small Business Opportunity, and we're fortunate to have in person Miss LaSasha Breland.
Good afternoon, everyone. As it relates to the SLBE certification program, when we look at the numbers of certified firms in each category, we have 9 in architectural and engineering services, 66 in construction services, 123 in non-professional, 83 in professional, and 5 in wholesale, which gives us a total of 286 certified firms. We currently have 20 pending new applications and 44 renewing SLBEs. As it relates to the gold projects with the Transportation Penny, recent goals set are Trenum Newcastle Sidewalk Project, 22%, CERN 2 Rabbit Run Sidewalk, 23%, and Broad River Road Widening Roadway, 5%. In the recent lineup of events, the OSBO department celebrated its first inaugural SLBE Appreciation Week, which included a second annual department celebration as well. SLBE Appreciation Week was established to honor SLBEs by bringing forth engagement and increasing visibility for small businesses in the county. On December 5th, which was a part of that celebration, the Richland County Office of Small Business Opportunity supported the grand opening of Bessie's Burgers and More, which is a certified SLBE, and they opened up a new location in Gather Cola of the Bull Street District. We do have our 2026 calendar of events pending, so there's more to come and exciting new programs and rollouts through the OSBO department. And I yield with that. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Breland? Thank you, ma'am. Always good to meet you. Next we'll jump to Mr. Vince Johnson or Jackson. Steve, it's you messing me up with a
Good
comment.
afternoon.
Mr. Jackson.
Yes. Good afternoon. Year to date, regarding ridership, year to date, Comet has counted 14 more percent passengers between July and November of this year compared to July to November of last year. Regarding the month of November, the Comet has counted approximately 31% more passengers this year than last year, and it was led by a significant increase in passengers counted on Sunday. We were up approximately 66% passengers counted on Sunday in November 2025 compared to November 24. Regarding USC, in November, we have counted 60% more passengers in November 25 than November 24. So we are will complete half a year at the end of December and in pretty good shape as far as passengers counted compared to last year. Regarding the financials, is attached in the agenda, and if you have any questions, I think Maurice is on the line to answer any questions if you have them. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Jackson with a comment? All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We are still one shy of a quorum, so we will go down to Mr. Maloney with the transportation program.
Okay, we had a ribbon cutting ceremony last week on Nathan Ridge Lane in Jackson Street. So I'm in the local neighborhood. And are you waiting for a form? For me to get into something that might be action items?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we're just waiting on one person and we'll have a quorum.
What did you guys?
You actually do need to go.
Oh, no, on camera? No, I'm fine. Okay. Are you okay if I'm not seen or heard?
Well, here you go.
So I prove that. So that was our one of a couple of events of ribbon cuttings we've had over the last couple of weeks, and we will look forward to the next item would be the completion of Blakewood Road widening. But before that, we're or at a similar time, we'll be looking for the launch of Broad River Road widening as one project for the whole corridor, and from Royal Tower to Dutch Fork Road. And we have another project or two occurring on that are all part of that widening project. The water main protective cap over the 54 and 36-inch water mains that was also awarded, as well as the widening project last week. And then we have a new traffic signal going in at Farming Creek Road and Broader Road. And that had been awarded a few months ago, and the contractor got approval from DOT on their list of materials and ordered equipment, and we expect that to be coming in January for us. Construction period of about 1 month. Percival Road continues adding sidewalk on one side, taking care of some items. You see some narrow sidewalk out there, they are replacing that with full 5-foot sidewalk. And Sunset Drive was the other ribbon cutting had a one guardrail detail that they needed to amend to reflect kind of a standard that DOT approved in other locations. So that's awaiting that. I think the city asked them, we're gonna move the cones and such.
Yeah, we got a request from a constituent.
Yeah, I think it was January.
Yeah.
I'd like to say we have them out there to kind of let traffic know there's now a sidewalk along the road, but there's a kind of a warning, like when you put a stop sign in or something, but they'll be coming out after the properties.
Mike, we do have a quorum.
And for the other item. If you wanna put that up for. Mary?
Oh, can I see it? No, they could be able to see it.
Which packet is this?
It's not in there. They should be able to see it since I have a whole screen.
Okay, so anybody, you do have it up, so anybody online see that page being displayed? Alex? Alex,
No, I don't see it.
Okay, so. Okay.
No, I don't see it.
How about now?
Yes, I can see it
You see-
now.
Yeah,
See it now.
Great. So, we received the, scoring overview for sidewalks, bikeways, special projects and greenways. And, we had some free time today to put these into a listing. I know you received a packet with just a few extra pages in it. And there's more to come if you want the details. Ellie, how many more pages was that, details? It's a lot. So I thought I'd give you something that's an overview here, at least to start with. The first funding category for sidewalks and certain pedestrian improvements would be called pedestrian safety and access. And you can see it starts off with project 1, Assembly Street, phase 2, then phase 3, score of 80 and 78. And then I have the city here handy at the meeting, so Dina or Lee, do you agree that those are pedestrian improvement projects, or was there another purpose to what you need the funding for?
Yeah.
It's like
the safety
in Our other category kind of closely related, but more related to traffic and congestion, so it's called traffic safety and congestion relief. And I guess if you're doing things that aren't really creating congestion relief for the idea of being traffic, then it's probably pedestrian safety. So I put those in the order that the scores came in, because you have some, you start off with what appears to be larger projects that have a large positive effect, and then you get to the first sidewalk project around rank number 7 with George Rogers Boulevard. And so then those are called sidewalk additions. And you get down to bollard installation at hospitality districts, and that looks to me like a pedestrian improvement. And then we get yes. Yeah, it's all under that main heading. And then you get to Green Lawn Drive, back to pedestrian improvement, and that's where they kind of get back and forth between a couple of project type categories we had, but all under the same type of funding mechanism. And so that's the list we had for those. And if we scroll up, thank you. Oh, back up one, there we go. So in that traffic safety and congestion relief, we had gotten a report from Stantec, and it included widenings and intersection improvements. The intersection improvements were generally under traffic safety and congestion relief. One of the projects that had been in the upper portion, I think it was called a special project, would be this type of project that would go into this kind of funding. And basically what we previously approved from Stantec, this would rank as in that category as rank number 11. So it's various projects to include mast arms, and things like that, to upgrade the signals. The next thing we had were mostly bikeways and greenways, so those are kind of funded under a category called multimodal transportation improvements. And we go all the way down on bikeways, starting with Pickett Street. And then we come down to project number 20, the first greenway, and it's called Vista Greenway Expansion. And I show it from Townwood to North Main, and I think it has another phase to go a little farther to the park.
I sent you all the alignment. Did you receive that?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. It's actually kind of connecting Granby all the way up to this Greenway and all the way back down.
Okay,
I guess you haven't had a chance to.
No, we
Yeah.
didn't update this.
right,
And I
so,
think we talked a little bit, Mike, about the scoring for public input.
right, the one thing about this, so it scores at 20, with a score of 55. And the public input on that was median, like 5 instead of 10. And if that is truly a 10, that would make it 60, which would move it up to project 13 perhaps. And then if there's anything else about it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of public support. Do you need us to pull together some information on that?
For
as well?
that public support.
Uh-huh. We talked about the riverside.
I think it's probably reflected in. it.
Hey, Mike.
On
Yes.
both that, both that, but.
Can you scroll up to the first page as you showed? So is this page here, is this updated and revisions? So what was shared last time, there's new projects on here that could have bumped things down? Like for instance, I know those the bollards, whatever. Don't do that. It was like number 8 or 9 or something like that last time.
okay,
And
Yeah.
now it looks like I'm trying to find it. It seemed like it was from,
14.
yeah, it was further down. So is that new scoring or something?
it is new scoring because they, if you just looked at bollard installation as pet improvements, it would be right there, around number 7. See that?
Yeah.
On the far right, just looking at project type. But these project types aren't scoring categories. In the new
Okay.
penny, they'll be scored by the pedestrian safety and access category.
Okay, so then that where 2 weeks ago, it was like, was it 10th maybe? It was like it was up there, so it's
Yeah.
just because other things have been scored and added in there.
Yes, sidewalks are added to these are projects that were sometimes what these all referred to as special projects. There really is no funding category called special projects, so I had to look at what is the goal of the project. If it's pedestrian safety and access, it fits in this category.
Okay,
And then the other thing is that you're reflecting updated scores based on the data we got back.
There's updated scores, early last week, Richland County consultants met with, the city to kind of review the scoring.
gotcha.
The good news is, so this category in the new penny has is part of the, in the principals document, has a budget of $410 million. So it really doesn't hurt that there's more projects in it. Our concern was that there wouldn't be enough. And so we met with the city and they said they also have a list of, let's say, a few hundred sidewalks out there that will be getting added into here very, very soon. But this is like the first time through with all the needs assessment. And, I think programmatically, the city did have something called, various, programs is program or sidewalk program. So we'll be adding that into the upcoming scoring.
So the city is still adding to the list, or
Yes, there'll be an ongoing add to the list.
So the reason is in our class, we had sidewalk improvements, and our initial understanding was that the city would manage those projects and be the, you know, like there would be a lump sum
The ones
Like
that
on
we
the-
have had requested throughout the years.
on the letterhead. But, and so we gave like a lump sum knowing that our needs are going to be, if it's a 10-year program or a 20-year program, our need probably priorities will change as, you know, safety.
But now they're doing project management, so we're gonna
Come up with a list.
handle list.
Yeah. And, we don't know when the program exactly is gonna start, so we may be going through this again, you know, this spring and summer, so.
So then,
Before
at-
we're even launching.
so at this point, municipalities are still able to add things to their wish list, for lack of a better term, or,
Well, that was an item that was kind of under, you know, programmatic, and they weren't named projects, but they can.
Okay. I got you.
To say anything could come in. We can score it and bring it to you to review to see if it should be added. I know emerging needs was thought of to be the same way if something wasn't really known at the time of the needs assessment in 2024, that there would be an open category for that.
Gotcha.
But the funding, you know, hasn't even started, so. Each year we'll come in and say, okay, here's how much of this we can fund this first year. And then the next year we'll come in and see if there's, you know, what more we can go. And keep using that ratio, so if this category at the top is something like 13% of the budget, we'll keep addressing that 13% with these projects.
Gotcha. Okay.
So our request is going to be to approve these. Now, on none of the projects, other than the updates that were provided, you know, looking through the professional inputs of our consultant and getting feedback on bikeways and sidewalks, or is it mostly bikeways? As far as kind of ranking, again, yeah.
But we can take feedback on. all of that.
Okay. So, we're gonna request your approval today to carry this forward, so that we can then. At the next availability of, like committees, which will be having the other side of the holidays and then early February, but I will need to get this into a briefing document in January. And get that in so that we can keep it moving as far as the initial scoring.
If, like our next meeting is on January 19th. I'm just concerned that this is the first that we're seeing this,
Okay,
and I'm kind of would rather. I mean, it's up to the committee if they feel we can go ahead and approve this. Me personally, I would prefer to have this list actually distributed to the committee to review before just a blanket approval on it. But that, I mean, I'm just one vote on here, so does anybody have any feedback or any concerns about moving forward with this and approving this today from the committee?
Sounds like Mike's working on the timeline.
That
in some
that
regards, right?
if you're meeting, yeah, January 19th. Yeah, that would still work with getting it on into ad hoc.
Hey, John, January 19th is MLK Day, so we may not be meeting them.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we probably won't be meeting on that day.
So was this list just for these 21 projects that we're approving, or is it some additional?
Well, this is the upper part of the list, and if you scroll.
Yep.
I mean, kind of look at the lower part of the page. All the way to the bottom. So there are more projects that you receive below 21. I stopped there just to get you past Vista Greenway so we could talk about it. For 21, we probably have another, it's the list that you received in the packet of bikeways that kind of carries on for quite a ways. Like 3 pages.
So we are in edits to, like, say, it's just Greenway, is that something that y'all could include in your bid if you're gonna vote today, or
Yeah, like Vista
Refer-
Greenway, for instance.
changes in the from and to and the scoring, or
She has the alignment now, and that's actually different from what's changed.
but there's also been a lot of public input, so that would bump the score too.
You said newspaper.
What is it that you're asking?
If you guys are voting today and we're anticipating changes in the from and the to, so the from would be Granby Park to basically Wolf Street, so you're like, that's a much larger extent, and that would change the connectivity ranking, but it would also the public input that's gone into that is pretty extensive, and right now it's listed as a public input of 5, so it would change the scoring as well, both tied to connectivity and the public input. So that would change where it falls on the spreadsheet. So if you're voting on the spreadsheet as a ranking, if once it's voted on, if it could accommodate
ability to
edits in the future based on additional information or not.
Yeah, 20. Vista.
I don't know if I'm comfortable approving this and then having changes made to it without having the final document for us to approve, to proceed, to move forward with. I'm not comfortable with that at all. If I mean, and I know, don't get me wrong, Mike, I know you guys do a phenomenal job. But I would rather, and again, I'm just one vote on here, but I would rather that this get deferred until the report is final, or as final as it can be, and distributed prior to the meeting before we actually took any action to move it forward to ad hoc. But again, that's just me. I'm one. If someone wants to make a motion and approve it with possible changes and stuff, it is what it is. But at this point, I would highly recommend and suggest to the committee that we defer this until it is updated and revised to what it is that you're asking us to approve to move forward to ad hoc.
Mr. Chairman, I would agree with you on that too.
Yeah, I agree. If we can get something more concrete, we can push it back a little later. I think that'd be a little better.
Yeah, and we'll present it in the same format. So we're looking at a single list, and we do have a lot of background information on each project that has been transmitted. So hopefully you have time to look that over. Does the new information that went out have the Vista Greenway described?
Yes.
Good, okay. And then
That's a happy one.
we'll discuss that too with the city as far as a staff recommendation for where Vista Greenway would fall in.
And our January meeting that was scheduled for January 19th, with that being MLK holiday, I'm assuming the county is closed that day. Would it be a problem if we moved our meeting up a week
I think that
instead
would
of
be-
pushing it back
It
a
would be
week
helpful if you do that.
to the 12th instead of the 19th?
That would be helpful. Yes.
Which, when we get down to other business, then we can take a vote to do that, but I think, I would personally, I would feel a lot more comfortable with making a recommendation to approve the ad hoc with this is what it is.
And the last thing I have is just the on the website. I don't know if we can pull that up, the Penny website. Public education. And then can you
Principals,
present it?
the principal.
It is the principles, but is it being presented now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's how we got there. You won't let me go over there.
No, oh, it was over there.
That was it.
Yes, sir. There it is.
Good, Steve. So when I'm talking about funding categories from the resolution passed by council that, you know, started here, went to ad hoc and we got set with how the projects are funded. I just wanted to kind of review that real quick. Those are where it's coming from. 48% of the funding going to community investment, 30% to county advancement, and 22% going to comment projects. So road resurfacing and rebuilding, 690 million, pedestrian safety and access, 410 million, road paving, 165, and then multimodal, 200 million. So this is installing bikeways, greenways, and shared use path. This is an alternative transportation network. So when we're putting the bikeways in that category, you know, that's what it is. And so that's why those were fighting for the greenway project, for instance. And that pedestrian safety is installing pedestrian or other accommodations to improve access and safety. And then there's the emerging congestion safety and relief, mostly intersection projects, but other things that would do that. And then emerging needs. So those are pretty much at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. And we're kind of working on traffic safety and congestion and road to what's down in county advancement before. And that was the widening. So the widening has a budget of 750 million. Railroad projects, there's one identified with a budget of 30 million. Some form of new roadways with a budget of 35 million, and that we do want to go over. The staff scored some projects, 5 projects in that. And then traffic safety and congestion relief again, but it says in this case like major intersection improvements for major transportation corridors. It's not a lot of budget in there, that's 20 million, so you know, we're fine, it'll be do big projects. And then major corridor road resurfacing rebuilding of 75 million. And then a larger 250 million for emerging needs for county advancement. So after going through that, we want to kind of then go to wherever we might have our score sheets from the staff that was in your original packet. Just tell me that.
Just come here because it's quicker. Well, that's what's quicker. The things that we did is the very last work.
So when we were looking at these, we saw a fair amount of projects under the category of special projects. Again, the funding mechanism is a little different in that it actually has a title called new roadways. And so we transportation staff scored. The 5 projects that were in the needs assessment related to these roadways.
Are you want me to go back?
This one's fine.
Okay.
Yes, thank you. So if people online can see that. We looked at the Shop Road extension phase 3. This is one of the last projects. Phase 2 of that is one of the last projects that are pending. This launching into design. Phase 3 would be a section that would take the project from Montgomery Road to Garner's Ferry Road. And it had a total score of 63. Another project in District 1 was Salem Church Road. This is a straightening of Salem Church Road to match in with an existing signal at Walmart. Finding at Old Dutch Fork Road, or Old Dutch Fork Road, Two Dutch Fork Road. And that has a score of 63. And then a new connector road, which would be connecting South Stadium Road to National Guard Road, for 49. And then an extension of Creech Road. We're working on Creech Road right now, which will go from Blythewood Road and then curve over to Main Street north of the high school. But right where it starts to curve, after the existing businesses, there's it actually has a natural curve in it right now to go towards I-77. It's like a frontage road that would take it down to Fire Tower Court. It has a score of 47. And then a new connector road, which would be a short, very, very short connection, but with a large waterway crossing to connect Pelham Drive to Sally Baxter Drive. That has a score of 23. So those are the 5 projects that were listed as special projects that staff recommends in that order.
That's fine. Exactly. Okay. All about the change, how the safety scoring was done.
Related to like pedestrian. So score 2 area is overall impacting cost ratio is based on like how many people are gonna experience this improvement, really, for the amount of funds you put into it. And so it's based on annualized average daily traffic. I guess looking at bikeways and such, the recommendation was that should consider pedestrian bike counts versus vehicular counts. And so that's something that we can kind of adjust for, but we do that, we can't really use that ABC that's talking about a point for every 500 vehicles. When you're talking about pedestrian counts, I mean a number that can separate a busy pedestrian way from a not so busy pedestrian way, maybe something like 20 or 50 pedestrian counts a day. And I've actually was able to put a signal in where it didn't meet warrants for the 8-hour warrants for how much traffic you have on the main road and the side road. But it was a big school crossing, so it meant pedestrian warrants. So there's that given in the guidelines in the warrant analysis for safety of intersections. So we could carry through with that same type of information here and kind of adjust that scoring, particularly when we're looking at multimodal projects.
You're talking to about under item 3 for the safety, thinking about where there were
just
crash records.
Yeah, this looks like projects that can solve things. What can you do to solve a problem? So you know, if you can create an island of refuge and you can shorten a crosswalk distance and you can add sidewalks, you could certainly add safety, but the other option and idea is to look at where the problems are right now. So looking at accident reports to become first, maybe the first thing we look at. And if it had a higher accident report, then kind of look at the things that we can do to solve it. So those are maybe adjustments we do in our next scoring. So this is all part of the action item. So if you wanted to look at the 5 projects that we have, and if you want to wait, that's fine, but we wanted to make sure you saw those that staff went out and visited the projects. They mapped them. The maps of the project, those 5 connector roads are in your packet. And for instance, that being the Shop Road extension from the phase 2 connection, we should be also up there. And then up over to the connection of the where Shop Road phase 1 ends. And this would be phase 3 taking over the Garnisburg.
Why the rectangle, Mike? Why was this?
So yes, that's what town.
Yeah, and sounded actually. The last one.
The left.
Yeah.
Slowly going. Here we go.
It's a rectangle because that's the area it would go somewhere in there. The idea is to connect. I guess the public info was to connect the. It's kind of the road running down here on the where it said you can see unnamed street off of it, connecting that road with Pelham. You'd actually be on Sally Baxter's and with that connection. Otherwise, it's a lot of residential lots, so somewhere in there. And that area is also a drainage way coming through there, so it'd be like, you know, a double cell box culvert or a bridge to put in.
Yeah, those got the great project.
So for what it does, for, you know, how many people it affects and things like that, I think the score was relatively low.
Would it have to, like that connector through that box? Would it then have to be like another connector on, because it looks like how that the roadway is split. Oh,
For those that are on TV, they won't see me doing this, but opposite, so just above where it says Pelham Drive, that's the road coming in, and where it says Pelham Drive, that's the lane going out. So you'd have to actually go into this, the forest in between, right above the P, and put a left turn lane heading towards the red box. And then you'd come in and create a connection with this road and the road going out, and probably keep the same on this side with some way to get onto that. So there'd be a kind of a removal of that forested media to do that. And then in between, right where the box is centered, there's a large, that's a large drainage way there, so. And we tracked down we went to the public comments, and the final report for the 2024 needs assessment found the person that made the comment. Checked that this is what they were talking about. So, yes.
that's good.
I think if you go over to the left, it becomes Gills Creek Parkway. So it becomes a nice way. Otherwise, these two roads going into the upper right are heading into Garnisburg Road. So you have to go out into a busy road and come back, and they're looking for a neighborhood connector to get to rather than natural areas and get up to Rosewood.
So what do you need? What are you asking us on as far as action items?
So on this item, if we could, like we did before, we would just take these 5 road connectors and request your approval of the scoring on this 5.
And this was just the, is this under the new roadway or? Oh,
Yeah.
I just want to make sure we get this right, so. But approving this is separate from
Like with
the one
sidewalks,
earlier, okay?
greenways.
So this is the new roadways projects that you're wanting a recommendation on, basically. Okay,
So for the entire 2024 needs assessment, these are these 5 projects represent the new roadways that fit that category within the funding.
okay. Is there a motion to approve the transportation scoring project for the new roadways projects? It's been moved. Is there a second?
I will second.
Is that
Second.
Miss Eva? All right. It's been moved and properly second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. And any abstentions? All right, thank you. Is that it, Mike?
That's only here.
All right. At this time, we will kind of jump back to the meeting minutes from this Monday, December 1st. Is there a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
Chairman, this is Shirley Robinson. On the minutes, I noticed, I think it was I noticed under item 2 that the motion, it had said that the motion was made by Eva and it said it was second by Eva. So I think that's
Hold on, just say.
that's a correction that needs to be made.
Okay. All right, we got that correction, Miss Eva. Miss Shirley, I'm sorry. So is there a motion to accept the minutes as amended to correct the motion made by Miss Eva and seconded by, hold on, I'm making sure I get this right. Eva moved. Chris seconded. Is it Miss Eva made the motion and Miss Chris seconded the motion?
Now, I'm not sure who seconded the motion, but I just thought the minutes needed to be corrected to reflect that Eva didn't make the motion and second her motion.
Okay, what we're gonna do, we'll go ahead and we will defer these until the next meeting. And our lovely admin lady, Miss Whitney, will correct that and we'll get it sent out with the next packet.
Mr. Chairman, if you would like, I could move that we accept the minutes as amended with the amendment. and can approve them. Right,
Okay,
we would just be making the correction.
I second that.
all right, it's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Thank you. The last thing on here is our next meeting. It was scheduled for January 19th, which is a holiday. Is there a motion to change our January meeting to have it a week early on the second Monday, which is January 12th, 2026? Is there a motion?
So move.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Thank you. Motion passed. All right, so our next meeting will be Monday, January 12th, 2026. The time is now 4:53 and we are adjourned. See y'all next year.
And everyone have a Christmas and a blessing.
See y'all next year.